All right, the MoveMic from Shure, brand new, just released today. I'm actually streaming because I tried to stream for 15 minutes. I thought I was streaming. I wasn't streaming. I am streaming. So this is a wireless lavalier all-in-one mic system that Shure just released today. You can see how small it is. And that is like its big appeal, at least to me, and why Shure made this particular microphone. This is, in comparison to other all-in-one wireless lav systems. What do I mean when I say all-in-one wireless lav? It means that this is the microphone and it's connected to my phone with no receiver. So via Bluetooth in your phone, it's recognized in this case by the Shure Motive app, and I can live stream, which I'm doing right now, to YouTube, and I don't need a receiver to do that. So in contrast to what you normally see these days, besides people holding their microphone, which I'm not going to do here in a minute, besides people holding their microphone, you have this little lav in comparison to what you normally see is a giant brick right in the middle of someone's chest. If you're wearing a t-shirt, it's going to be harder to hold a big microphone like that, but honestly, to me, it kind of looks ridiculous. So does holding the mic, although I will say, when you hold the mic, it's very clear. You get great audio. At least people are realizing the power of getting the microphone close to them. So I'm going to press the mute button. It'll light up red so that I can put it actually where it's supposed to be as a lav microphone, and you can see that. So let me do that. All right, we're off mute. I'm going to be a little rustling around here as I adjust the microphone, but this is more typical, right? This is how you would have a lav microphone. You can put this anywhere. Obviously, I can be distance away from the phone, although I start to project when you get away from the phone. So the biggest thing you can do for your production when you're starting, if you're a content creator, is get audio. This is on a phone, so most of us have 4K cameras already. So don't buy the camera, buy the audio first. And the other wireless lav options, big brick versus small. So it really depends on the style you want and what you need. So one downside to this mic, which I talked about in the video, full review launched today. So go check that out. Has all the details in it, all the samples. But the price, it's a little pricier. I think the single mic, so they have a couple different kits. The single mic, there's a dual mic. So this is also a charging case. It's not actually a square microphone charging case. This one has two in it, but you can buy a single kit. And there's also one with the receiver kit. So if you want to go to camera, which is how I filmed the video that I released today, it's going into the receiver, and you can put two microphones into that. And I think the single kit, like just this one mic that would just go to your phone, that's all you'd be using it for because the single mic is all it can do. I think that's around, I don't want to say, but check out the video and the links. I don't know if it's $299. It might be. I think it's $299. So that's expensive, especially compared to other microphones kind of like it, the all-in-one options, all-in-one wireless lav style options. That's kind of pricey. So I would only be buying it if it fit me perfectly, right? If I'm a fitness content creator or a cook or something that requires being a little far away and I use my phone and you want the small form factor or you want two people, so two person. I think that this really excels most for the two mic kit. And why that it's so cool is because this is the first kit that I know of, or I think that even Shure said, this one also connects wirelessly to the phone along with this one at the same time with no receiver, but you get two channels of discrete audio, two separate channels. One's left, one's right. That means in post-production, you can go in and separate those channels and post-produce it. So if you're the kind of content creator who's gonna go in and post-produce your audio, that's gold. You can make a production a lot better by doing that. That said, if you're not someone, you can mix them, the options in the app. You can mix them as a mixed channel. It's ready to go when you're done producing it. If that's your style, if you're going to go do a podcast, have two people, and you want the mix and it sounds fine, you can do that too. So you don't have to worry about, oh, I have to post-produce my audio. You don't. The beauty is you have the option to, right? If something goes wrong, someone else is making, there's a bunch of rustling or something happens to the audio, you're not stuck with that mix. You can go in and fix it. So it gives you a bit of a safety there. So those are who I think would be buying this, who would be interested into it. It's the small size. If you want small size, maybe you just wear a t-shirt and you need to clip on, because the bigger blocks, they're gonna weigh on your shirt, right? Or if you want it to be more hidden, or if you do the 2-channel, if you're a travel creator, like this is it. 2 mics or 1 mic in this tiny case with your phone, you're out of here. You're making content anywhere. The other downside is that it's not going to connect to a third-party app. So I'm live streaming from the Shure Motive, M-O-T-I-V app. They have the audio and video versions. I'm live streaming from inside that app. So you can live stream to someone that has an RTMP server. I think Instagram has one. Don't know if TikTok does. YouTube, obviously. Facebook has a native option. You can just log into Facebook in the app. So a couple different ways you can live stream to third-party apps. But if you're going to make a video, like a reel for Instagram, you're going to record it in the app, and then you're just going to open Instagram and put it in that way. So bummer that isn't connected to third-party apps. I asked Shure what that's about. It's apparently because of the technology that they developed, not only to give it good range. This has 100 feet and has a high power option, which is like a boost in case you're in like a really tricky environment. So between that technology, not IPX4, I got that wrong in my video, but I did pin a comment. IPX4 is just moisture resistant. Whatever, I should have known, but can't know it all, right? Just make stuff and put it out and then fix it in real time. You don't have to be perfect, just make stuff. Don't know what I was saying. No, I do know what I was saying. Between that the Bluetooth technology, I think, the wireless technology they developed in-house, and the ability for it to do that 2 channels connected together at the same time discreetly doesn't allow like a lot of third-party apps to play nice with it. So hopefully there'll be a firmware update on that. 2 things I want to see. I'd like to see the price drop, especially for the single and double unit. That would be cool. I think you'd have way more success. Those are some of the comments I'm seeing already from the video that I posted today all about it. Price drop and then third-party app connection would be really cool. But again, if it's just about the size, which for me, this is a lav mic that I would actually wear. So for me, it works. But pricey. So you just have to decide what do you need, because it doesn't have onboard recording either. Some of those others do. So if you need onboard recording, then you would use something else. And if I went with one of those more chunky ones, I'd get the lav option that plugs in and use it like a traditional lav. You saw me mute on there. I have noise reduction on right now. There's not much noise in here. A couple little fans, but it's not going to make a difference. But the difference, when you saw me holding it, it was probably actually more clear because it's off my chest, right? So when you put it close to your chest, it's going to get more of that deep in. Shure did do some acoustic design to the capsule or whatever, the internals of the mic, to give it a 2K to 6K bump. That's that shine, right? And that's, I would imagine, why they did it, because once you put a mic onto your chest, it's going to sound deeper, muddier, darker. But even with that on, I didn't notice it being enough for my voice. And also having noise reduction on in real time, noise reduction's also going to make things muddier. So I went in, there is a 5-band EQ, made a cut. So there's also low pass filter. So I low pass at 75, but then I think I went to the EQ and cut before you boost. So if you want to make something brighter, cut that low end. I think I cut at 100 hertz by like 3 to 6 dB. Then I did do a little extra 4K to 10K boost. And I'm not going to know how that sounds until I watch this later, but it's cool that you have that option. That's in the app and controllable over the microphones. So related to how I don't know how this is going to go, I'm live streaming to YouTube vertically. So the other test I'm doing here is, will this populate into shorts? YouTube recently said that when you live stream vertical, it can at least be discovered in YouTube Shorts, which is really cool. I like YouTube Shorts a lot. This is one way, an interesting way to get your live stream discovered if they surface it in that's going to sound real weird. If they surface it in the Shorts feed, not in your, anyways. We'll see how that works out. Leave a comment. I'm seeing some comments. So gone full TikTok. Oh, you must have saw me holding the microphone. So actually, let's do that, right? Like I'm wearing it, but yeah, if you're the type of person who wants to be trendy and hold the microphone, I mean, this is a cool option. I'm gonna definitely do various videos where I just stick this on different things. In fact, what would be, I don't know, we could put it, this isn't big enough. Put it on a poker chip, right? You see people put mics on everything, but you want to do something ridiculous, right? Like, this won't stay on here. Could put it on my, that's probably really loud. All right, coming to you live from inside a water cup. Anyways, yes, you could be as silly as you want. Gone full TikTok. Thanks for noting the IP4 mix. Oh, right, there's a Nightfly. Is you the one? So yes, I learned something. That is the best part about making these videos, is I'm always learning too, right? I learn stuff and try to share it. And then in the comments, you guys, everyone watches it, and they teach me something. So the IPX4, I learned that. Why? You know, when you brought that up, and I thought to myself, because I did ask Shure what the IPX4 was about, and I read it wrong in terms of what it was about. And in fact, they corrected me today too. And I said, yeah, someone already beat you to it in the comments. And I did correct it. But when you said that, I'm like, why wouldn't I not just Google the jargon, right? And I feel like a lot of earbuds came up, like wireless earbuds. I think that's like important. So there's a few things. I've never paid attention to like water resistant anything. So, you know, these phones, maybe the phone is IPX4 rated, right? Is that how an iPhone does it? No idea. Anyways, learn something. That I wish YouTube would give us the ability to edit. You can't make any edits. I mean, you used to be able to put text over things, and I could go back in and edit in some text. I don't think you can do the text anymore. Anyways, YouTube, can we get some edit feature some way? All right, you hold it well, VJ says, thank you. Will it clip so that it's kind of tucked behind the shirt collar? Yes, this will be noisy. This will be noisy. Plug ears. So if we clipped it more, and I don't know if that's what you mean. If I was wearing a black shirt, actually, is my shirt black underneath? It's not. I mean, we could almost really hide it, right? And that probably got weird in terms of like, it's right at my throat. So it's very tucked under my chin. The sound might be very different, but yes, you could tuck it different places and almost hide it. This is terrible content when I'm moving it around like this, but you could definitely get a little more creative with how you wore it so that it's hidden. But that would make a good video about a microphone if I didn't show it to you, or maybe it would. Anyways, still sounds the same. Oh, that's very interesting, to be right there under the neck and sound the same. Or is that bad? Does it not sound great and then sound still not great? You know what I'll say, the biggest contributor to the sound, the quality of your audio, is going to be the space that you're in. I'm in a decent space here. There's some acoustic treatment, and then there's stuff in here. It's acoustically pretty good. It's not too live of a space, but I am back here, like these corners I do have a problem with the corners, bass buildup. I need to build some bass traps. It usually affects more of my listening back to audio. I don't do music. I do music for fun, but mostly I'm doing dialogue. So I'm mixing with headphones on. That gives me a great representation. If I mix in the room, it's definitely gonna sound way boomier. So, all right. Well, anything else? Nice form factor. I agree, Geek. Man, this thing is very cool. Form factor is amazing, and that's why they made it, right? I think they saw, or that's why they chose the compromises that they did, so they could give a different option. And this is an actual lav mic that I would wear. Don't know if I said that since I've already live streamed this twice. This is the second time. I live streamed to nobody the first time. Pro tip, you have to go to YouTube first to set up the RTMP. Actually, you know what? I didn't even name it. This says Ray Ortega live stream. Terrible. Wonder if I'll get to change the title. I think I can change it. Oh, I can change the title right now. That's not good content. But I wonder if that'll just break it all. Shure MoveMic. Tiling's so important, and I'm super gonna blow it. Shure MoveMic live. Terrible. We'll save it. Maybe that'll save. We'll see if I killed it. So I can see. Anyways, you got to go into YouTube to set it up, and I don't know if you can do that from YouTube Studio. Not well, at least for RTMP. And then live, even though the app was saying I was live. So blah blah blah. Thanks for checking this out. I'll be curious where this service is. If you found this because you were scrolling shorts and my live came up in the shorts feed, 100% let me know, because that's what I'm actually very curious about. Outside of the microphone, very curious about how this new YouTube feature works. Because I think it's cool to live stream vertical, and I like the shorts feed, so it'd be cool. What's the direct to phone range? Shure says 100 feet. Interestingly, I can't show you because it's in the app. In my video, there was a brief demo. It was just me and my buddy out at a bar. He went probably like 50 feet away through closed doors and like 20 different bodies. Very busy environment. Lots of Wi-Fi going on. And no problem, no dropouts. But 100 feet, I'd be curious, how would you use it if you were really far away? Like, what are the use cases? I mentioned that in my video. Like, if you're someone who's going to be really far away from their phone, what are you creating content for? I can think of several options. I'm just curious how other people would do it, because I never consider range really when I'm thinking about wireless. But it's important because they always spec for it. And some people, there's so many different types of content to be made, just not the kind of content I make. But they have a high power option in the app. I even asked Shure, I said, what is the high power option? Much like IPX4, I didn't understand. High power apparently is a boost. So if you're in a particularly challenging environment where you need to boost the range or the signal, I think it's the signal for the range. I don't think it increases your distance, just makes it more reliable. Apparently that's part of the tech they've developed. You can select high power and it'll give you more reliable range in a tough environment. So that's actually interesting and kind of tricky to test. I'll have to find a tough environment where I can get this thing to drop out. And I don't think it's just range. I don't think range is going to be enough. I think it's going to need something else that would require high power. Let me know if you can come up with an example. Prank videos, obviously. Yeah, I guess 100%. There's just so many genres. What happens when you go out of range? Good question. I don't know. As one test I have not done. I have not gone out of range, or I haven't gone far enough to make it drop out. So I'll have to test that out. So the beauty is that, Shure sent this for a review, right? So I'm keeping it because they sent it and they didn't ask for it back. The beauty of that is that I get to test all these things out. The hard part is a lot of times I will get gear on loan, which is totally cool, stuff I ask for. But then inevitably, I'm going to get a comment for something I didn't test, and I'm like, I can't test that out. I have so much gear that I've bought over the years that I've replaced with other things like audio interfaces. Excuse me. And it just stacks up here, and it feels wasteful, but always, I'll do another review where I was like, oh, well, I want to compare that interface to the other interface. And this will give me an option to compare this. But really, it's more about like, I'm going to get questions that I'm not going to be able to answer unless I have the device. So I'll have it, ask questions. I can check those things out for you. And I remember one Behringer mixer that I literally asked the like B&H to send back to me 3 different times because the question, it was just driving me insane to answer it. I think I solved it, but man, what a pain that review was. JD, so glad to see that I'm not alone in being annoyed by YouTubers holding the lav mic. Yeah, I mean, you know, once a trend starts, man, you see it everywhere. I'm a podcaster. I'm a YouTube, so of course I hold my microphone, right? Got to do one of those videos. No, it's the only thing about it. The only thing that I have to like, that I have to enjoy is that I'm seeing audio close, like close mic'd audio sounds fantastic. In fact, I would argue that a lot of times people use the microphone too close. So there is too close and it sounds muddy and not natural. So the distance is important, but it's teaching people that what good audio is. I don't even know why that started. I think it started because that tiny microphone, which was wired, but people were asking people with the tiny microphone. And then someone just grabbed a lav and they're like, I'm just gonna hold this like that. The frequency response on this microphone, you're not getting audio from this one. That's why I can shake it all around. It's coming from this one. The frequency response when I hold it is better. Like in my video that I launched today on YouTube, the opening sounds better, but you know, I can't EQ or do any of the post-production on it when I'm doing a review because I have to put it out there raw. And in fact, in the noise test, there's a problem. This space that I'm in is super challenging. I have all kinds of weird RF, and I think it's because the foam board insulation is wrapped in foil, and I think like the power is running next to it. That's all I can come up with. And it is sealed in the ceiling, so I cannot change that in my space. I can deal with it in real time. My Shure SM7B does a good job, but like if a cable gets out of whack, so something changed in that noise demo where you can hear the problem that's in my space, of course, and it got in a noise demo. Didn't ruin it per se because the whole point was the fan and you can hear it drop that out. But come on, a noise demo and then that happens it's kind of funny, but annoying. It's very hard to do mic reviews in this space because I got to leave them raw. And I'm like, well, you're almost 99% not going to have that problem. It's not a good test of a mic's RF rejection because I've seen it on the best mics pick it up. It's just this space is just particularly tough. So mic reviews are very tough because I got to leave them raw. Otherwise, my audio, I think, sounds great in general. But that said, yeah, I didn't EQ or anything. I think I mentioned when I started this, I did some EQ in the app. Yeah, I mentioned that you get the low cut and a 5-band EQ to compensate for what I was hearing in that video. It was muddy and darker against my chest, which is the way it's going to be. And so I did some EQ, and I'll go listen to this afterwards and see if that's the right EQ, tweak it some more, and then I'll save it as a preset in the app. So when I go live, I'll know what EQ, what sounds good for this, because I can't monitor it live right now. I could turn it on right now and hear myself. Oh, let me do that. It's going to be loud. No, I think it's muted. I'll just mute it. All right. Thank you, JD. The review was great. I really appreciate it. The noise reduction was impressive. What's on Shure's website where they are broadcasting in front of like a freeway, basically on top of a building, and it sounds clean. You're like, is that real? Because it doesn't seem real. So I need to test it even against harder noise suppression, but I keep the noise reduction on and I don't hear it negatively affecting my voice, which is what noise reduction does. I mean, or tends to do. But noise reduction has gotten so good. Third-party apps where you can, I crank up noise reduction every day in my post-productions that I work on. And because I work with people who aren't recording in studios at all. But these days, if you did that before, if you went 7, 8, 9 dB of noise reduction just years ago, it sounded like garbage. It got all garbled and stuff. Now, even before AI, which I've seen some AI stuff that's amazing too. Even before that, some plugins out there like Isotope stuff, Acusonus, there's so many of them. They're like basically seamless. I do notice that it makes it a little darker sometimes. Then I just EQ back in the low end. I EQ some of that darkness out on the low end. 100 hertz, little dip, 80 below, all that stuff, right? So you can EQ it back. So that's really cool. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. If I showed you this setup right now, it would be absolutely ridiculous. This phone is in a cup on top of a hex tool with a tripod, which it should be on, in the back of the cup just to hold it up. Ridiculous. Just make content, make it work, put it out. I'm gonna try to reach into that cup, press the stop button. But check out the video today, the review. If you're getting this through shorts and you don't see me ever because you're not subscribed, subscribe, I guess. Gotta say it, right? I'm a YouTuber, so of course I ask, don't do it. I'm gonna press the button in the cup. Sounds weird. All right, see you guys.